There are a few useful selection scripts that I'd like to draw your attention to. The first one is very simple and it's called invert selection. It's written by Trevor Ian Grant, or TIG as he's known in the forums. I'll right-click on this face and choose invert selection, and it will get everything but that. And this works on faces or edges. Here I'll make an edge selection. I'll right-click on the edge itself and choose invert selection. I get everything but those edges. And this works within the context of groups and components as well. Another script is called quick selection. I'll right-click and choose it here from the context menu. And this is written by Didier Boer of the Ruby Library Depot. This is like your Swiss Army knife for selection. It has all kinds of options in here. Start a new selection, you can add to the current one, and so on. You can search through all the visible objects, or you can limit it to only the invisible layers or whatnot. You can select different object types. Here in this case, maybe I'll just select all the faces. OK. It pops back up, so you have to cancel out of it after you've made a selection. And it tells you how many objects you have. Here I have all of the faces in the model. So that's a very powerful tool. The last script that I'll demonstrate is Selection Memory by Jim Foltz. It comes in the form of a tool palette. The idea here is that this functions like a calculator. I don't know if you're familiar with scientific calculators and how you can store a number in the memory. Well, this works just the same with selection sets. So it doesn't offer any new way to select, merely a buffer that stores a selection set for you. And this can be quite useful, especially if you spend time building up a complex selection set. You don't want to have to go do that again. So let me just demonstrate it. I'll select this face, hold down the Shift key and select some other faces and their edges. And then I'll press MS to store that in the memory. I'll deselect, and then I could go ahead and continue to work all day, come back here later and realize I wanted to get that selection back. I can press Memory Recall, and the selection is restored. Let's say that I want to add something to the selection. I'll go ahead and hold down the Shift key, double-click on this other hexagon to add it to the selection set. Then I'll press the M+ button to store that in the buffer. Then later on I can recall that, and you'll see that this hexagon has been added to the set. Let's say at this point I decide that I want to remove something from the selection set. Let me deselect, and I'll double-click on this face to get the face and its edges. Then I'll press the M- key to subtract that from the buffer. Recalling from the memory shows you the result. Using these three scripts, you should be able to select just about anything and store it in memory for later reuse.